So sometimes trying to make it simple and basic, and so many of our family practice and nurse practitioners are the one who are screening them. How do you help people talk about that, like in the medical field, to our patients? Can you give me some examples?
Right, sure. And unfortunately, in our very broken medical system, there's so little time for this to happen. I think nurse practitioners and PAs have a little more time, but it's just such an incredible thing. And my favorite is just going back to plain and simple anatomy and being able to talk about what the clitoris is, the parts of the clitoris, how they sit right on top of the urethra and the vagina, and how it functions. And just very basic anatomy, because what percentage of clitoris owners do you think this is the only part of the clitoris? Well, let's extend that out to what percentage of the population. I don't even have to be clitoris owners or people who aren't in the medical field. So to have a better understanding of what our sex organ is all about, I think I'm hopeful is a way for people to at least get started and generate some questions.
Will you hold that model back up, because that is such a great model? Will
Yes.
you talk through all the parts of that so that
Sure.
our listeners can actually see that and have a visual of, hey, this is how complex and how large and how big actually the whole clitoral region and the erogenous zone actually is?
Yes. Now, this is twice the size of a normal clitoris. The clitoris isn't the size of your face. Trust me, that has to come first. But if we look at just the clitoral complex itself, we all know about the glands. Everybody knows about the glands. But the pink parts, and you can kind of see, are analogous to the erectile tissue of the penis. But this has one embryologic origin. The glands and this tissue coming down from the glands to connect to the vestibular bulbs are from a different embryologic origin. So they aren't erectile tissues. Now, that being said, the clitoris does not get erect. I have recently seen literature that it does not get erect. The only thing that moves or changes, it gets firm like the penis. The bulbs fill with blood and they expand. So as they expand with blood, with arousal, with full arousal, that, remind you, can always take up to 45 minutes, they sit around the urethra and the vaginal canal, putting pressure on the sides of the vaginal canal. So interestingly, we know now too that there are over 10,000 nerve endings on this little tip of the penis, of the clitoris. There's some question now. It used to be 4,000 on the penis. That's much larger, so you get some sense of the nerve here. What we have in this model, actually, there's actually a group of, I kid you not, clitoris model makers from around the world, the clitorotomy, as they refer to themselves, yes, are working on clitoris models. And this is actually, truth be told, this is actually an aroused clitoris, because if it wasn't aroused, the vestibular bulbs would be thinner and not so full because they're not full of blood. So that's the anatomy, the functional anatomy of how it works. Now, if we take a look at this is a new model. I don't know that you've seen this one yet, if you've seen it online. This is the clitorit model. This is from a physical therapist in Melbourne, Australia. Took 4 years to design this bad boy. So it sits like this. You open it up, and you have this beautiful vulva.